back to our channel. In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different than our usual content. As you can see, I am in front of the camera today to show you guys how I pack for sandals. So we are going to TWO Sandals in a few weeks. We are going to Sandals St. Vincent and Sandals Grenada. So we are doing a split stay where we are spending 3 nights at Sandals St. Vincent, and then we are island hopping from St. Vincent to Sandals Grenada, and then spending 4 nights at Sandals Grenada. So 7 nights total, split between 2 resorts, and I thought I would show you how I pack for a sandals trip. This will be our 9th and 10th Sandals Resorts. So at this point, I have a pretty good handle on what to pack, what to expect, and definitely what to leave behind. So I figured I would make a video and bring you along with me where I show you what I pack for sandals. I will show you what I pack for myself, what I pack for Kevin, and then also what I pack for our toiletries, our carry-ons, and some things that you might not expect. So I'm really excited for today's video because I'm on a lot of the Facebook pages for sandals, and a lot of people are always asking this question of like, am I gonna need this? Should I pack this? Does it get cold at night? Do I need a little shawl? Or do you prefer a carry-on or should I check a bag? So I thought I would make a video answering those questions of just my personal opinion and how I like to pack for sandals. So if you want to see what we pack for a typical sandals trip to TWO Sandals, to St. Vincent, and to Sandals Grenada, then let's get into it. So starting with some of the basics of, do we do a carry-on or a checked bag? So we always do a checked bag, and there's a few reasons why. Number 1 is because of the length of stay. So we always stay for at least a week. So we need plenty of clothes, toiletries, all of those things. And we have just found that a checked bag is easier for us in order to fit everything that we need, and also in case we want to bring back any souvenirs. Also, we always bring a backpack for Pack for a Purpose, which is the Sandals Foundation initiative that helps the local students of that island. So all you have to do is bring a backpack and stuff it with local school supplies. Sometimes it might say if you go on the website, it might tell you that certain islands are in need of certain items. For example, it might say that a particular school really needs books from ages 5 to 10 or something like that. So we always want to make sure that we put that in our checked bag as well. So because we always bring the backpack for Pack for a Purpose, and because of the length of stay, we always stay for at least a week. That's why we are very happy to check a bag. However, if you were staying for a shorter amount of time, under 7 days, I think you could get away with a carry-on. This is just our personal preference for how long we stay, and also it allows us to bring the backpack, and you'll see all of the things that we pack along the way as well. So this is just our preference, but I'm gonna show you what we pack in our checked bag. So this is the checked bag that I always prefer to bring. This is a cow pack. I have no idea if there's like a model or something, but why I like it is because it has a lock on the side here, and it has really good, I don't know if you would call it like flexibility or what, but it spins really easily. And I've had other checked bags that like only go front and back, and this has like total spinning power, and I like that it's a hard shell. It's just my preference is to get a suitcase that is similar, that has a lock on the side and has as much storage as this one does. So to start, when packing for a sandals trip, my first piece of advice is to always plan ahead and pack sooner than you think. So we are leaving in about 3 weeks. I don't think you need to start packing 3 weeks in advance, but always give yourself at least a week to start packing ahead of time, because as it gets closer, things always come up where you're scrambling at the last minute to get everything together, and it's so much easier to just be prepared and start by planning ahead. So that is the first thing. Make sure that you plan ahead by packing about a week or so earlier than you're leaving for your trip. The second piece of advice that I have, and this is for whether you are bringing a carry-on or a checked bag are these. So these are the packing cubes that I recommend always. These are the CalPack packing cubes. And the reason I picked these up is because of the CalPack suitcase. They fit perfectly inside. They're actually like measured to fit directly inside of this. So I always pack my CalPack packing cubes with my CalPack luggage, and it fits great. This is an absolute essential. I cannot recommend this enough. I used to think these were not necessary because you'll see in a moment how I roll my clothes to make them fit. I did not think it was necessary to get an additional bag to put inside. I was so wrong because this actually compresses them, so it makes it just a tighter fit, and you can fit so much in these. So that is a huge necessity for me whenever I am packing, is to make sure that I have my packing cubes. Cannot pack without them. I also bring a personal item, which is just a backpack. And I would love to get more of a travel savvy backpack, but for now, this is just the backpack I used when I was in school, like in college. So I just use this, but this is great because it has a laptop sleeve and it has a bunch of compartments. So to start, I will share what I put in my personal item in my backpack. It does not have to be a backpack, but in your personal item, you should make sure that you have a couple of essentials. I always keep my headphones in my personal item. These are the headphones that I would recommend because they are Beats Studio Pro. And the reason I recommend these is actually kind of a funny reason that you don't really think about. But I love that these cover my whole ear so that when I'm on the plane, I don't get any like outside noise from the loud rumble of the plane. So that is really important, and that's why I need like an over-ear headphone. But these in particular, inside of the case, they actually come with a wire to connect your headphones, you know, to your phone or whatever. But I need this to listen to the movie on the plane, especially if you're flying JetBlue. You have to have a headphone that has a wire to plug in still. I do think some of the newer flights now, you can use wireless headphones, but I've always, no matter what, like without fail, I can never get Bluetooth to work on a plane. I've tried the little plug-in for the AirPods. It's called like AirPlay or something, where you plug it in. It never worked for me. So I love that these come with a manual plug because on the plane I love to watch movies, and this is the only way that I'm able to. Of course, you can just use like regular earbuds. You don't need something like this, but I just find the comfort of this is so important. So I really recommend these headphones if you like to watch movies on the plane, or even if you just want to listen to music. I just think to have the wire is really, really important because you can plug it into the TV in front of you. And a lot of times I've been traveling and I don't have that wire. Or same with Kevin, he will forget to bring a wire, and then you're like, great, I have this movie and I have my headphones, but I can't put the two together. So just make sure you bring a wire. I like these headphones, but bring whatever you want. The next thing I put in my carry-on is my GoPro, and that is actually what I'm filming on right now. But even if you are not planning on posting any sort of videos or filming any content while you are traveling, it is such a good idea to bring a GoPro if you are interested in anything to do with underwater. So that is really why I first got a GoPro, was because I wanted to film underwater, because we do a lot of snorkeling. Kevin is learning how to scuba dive, and we really wanted to get some footage underwater. So if I am filming underwater with this and it slipped out of my hand, the orange would float it right back up to the top. So that's why I really like this. It's also a stabilizer. So even if I'm not underwater, if I'm just walking around the resort, I love this because it just holds it steady. The next, arguably most important, well, I suppose your passport is most important. We will get to that. But one of the most important items that I put in my backpack next is this, which is our med kit. And I just want to go over a couple of medications that you should always, always, always bring to Sandals. Some you may not think of, One of the most important for me is any kind of a Dramamine or motion sickness, because when you land, I don't get motion sickness on a plane, I get motion sickness in a car or a boat. So when you land and you get into your shuttle, I always pop one of these, because sometimes the car ride can be anywhere from like 5 minutes, which is fine, or it could take as long as 2 hours if you're going to somewhere like St. Lucia. The plane ride to the shuttle ride to St. Vincent is only going to be about 45 minutes, but I'm still gonna take one of these because the roads in the Caribbean are a lot different than the roads here. They're very, very windy, and they don't really have highways. It's more like just a bunch of back roads, main roads. But if you think about it, the Caribbean is very mountainous, so it's all about going like around mountains or like up mountains. So it can be very bumpy and it can be windy. So always make sure that I have some kind of Dramamine, which always helps you no matter what. But I also recommend these. This is like falling apart in the package, but any sort of like nausea, ginger relieving gum is what this is. And same thing, just helps if you do feel like you are like already nauseous and it's like too late. This is perfect for that. Another thing that you should always have are any kind of liquid IV, or I got these from Target, but they're just like electrolyte drink package things. Any sort of electrolyte drink mixes, because you are in the blazing hot sun and probably drinking, and you get really hot and you can easily get dehydrated. So I always make sure, if you start feeling that afternoon kind of headache coming on, or you just want to prepare and hydrate like the night before, I usually have one of these with breakfast or right before bed, or both. But either way, I always bring, let's see, I have about 6 in here right now. So I'll probably pack a couple more. But for now, the electrolytes are very, very important. Another important one that I always pack are makeup wipes. Do not forget these. I've forgotten these so many times, and it's not that big of a deal to just like use soap and water on your face. But I personally, sometimes I'm so tired, I just need to reach for a makeup wipe. So makeup wipes, I don't know why they're in the med kit, but sometimes it really is that much of an emergency, I guess. This is a good one for the plane. These are just ZzzQuil, any kind of like sleep aid for the plane. And lastly, just an ibuprofen. I actually don't have any in here right now, but any sort of ibuprofen or Tylenol or anything like that. Any other sort of medication that you might need that you have forgotten. It's really important to note that Sandals does have a nurse's station. God forbid you should ever need one. We actually did have one circumstance where we did need a nurse's station for something, and they did have it. So it is, you do have a backup. They have in the gift store, they sell some of like the over-the-counter stuff, but the nurse's station will have more of like, if God forbid you needed like an antibiotic or something like that. They do have more like prescription medications there. So just keep that in mind if there was an emergency that you are covered. But this is more so for like the plane and the ride there. But I always just make sure that I keep my med kit in my personal item, because I will be reaching for this throughout the plane ride and the ride over. Another thing you want to make sure you have in your personal item is, of course, your passport, wallet, phone chargers. Another travel tip is to make sure that you create a list to consult in your phone. And on my list, I have it divided into the bags. So for my personal item list, the first thing I have is my charger for my phone and my laptop. The second thing is my Kindle and my Kindle straps. So I love to bring my Kindle whenever I go to Sandals. Oh, hi Caesar. I always bring my Kindle whenever I go to Sandals, because if you are someone who likes to read by the pool or the beach, a Kindle is awesome. The screen has certain technology that doesn't create a glare when the sun hits it. So even if you're reading just like a plain book, sometimes if the sun is hitting it, it can be so bright, or the pages are always like flying away. So I love to read. I read a lot on vacation. So the Kindle is my preferred method of reading when I travel because it's also so much easier. Otherwise, I would truly be packing like 3 or 4 books. Not that I read 3 or 4 books at a time, but I like to have options, or like I'll switch back and forth. So I love having my Kindle on me because I only have to bring 1 book, or if I'm at the end of a book and I know I'm gonna finish it by day 2, I don't wanna bring 2 books. So this is perfect because I can have as many books as I want on here. I don't have to worry about the pages blowing away. The other thing I really like is these straps that I have. So when I am reading it by the pool, if I'm like lying down and I'm holding it up, it's like totally hands-free and it's not gonna like fall on me. It's just kind of a nice thing to have. It's just like very comfortable to like hold it like this. So I always make sure to pack my Kindle and my Kindle straps. Another thing is my wireless charger. So this is my wireless charger. It's just about the size of a phone, but it has a bunch of ports where you can plug in anything from a GoPro, my laptop, my Kindle, my phone. I'm all covered just with this. So this is great if you are either sitting at the airport or if you are on the plane. Sorry, knees hurt. If you are on the plane and the plane doesn't have any outlets, this is a perfect solution. So I always make sure that I bring this with me anytime that I travel, and that is going to go right in my personal bag. Last thing that goes in my personal item, and this is another travel tip, is to make sure, if you are going to Sandals, if you take nothing else away from this video, make sure to pack a swimsuit and cover up / sandals in your personal item. Because if you arrive to the resort, check-in time is at 3 p.m. If you arrive at 11 a.m., which has happened to us, we have literally touched down in the Bahamas at, I think it was like 10 or 11 a.m. It was so early. They were still serving breakfast. That's how early we got there. So we understood our room was not going to be ready for hours. 3 p.m. is the check-in time. So if you are slotted to arrive earlier, or even if you're not, even if you do get there, you know, at 3 p.m., it's still a good idea to always have a swimsuit, a pair of sandals, and a cover-up in your bag. The reason being is that they will take your luggage to your room for you as they're getting your room prepared, and you will be able to just go in your backpack and pull out a bathing suit and head right over to the pool or to the beach and be able to just jump right in and start your vacation, rather than rummaging through your luggage in the middle of the lobby and trying to find a bathing suit and sandals and everything to put together. So every time we travel, I do this. I make sure that we each have a bathing suit and some sort of sandals in our personal items. So that way, as soon as we arrive on resort, we can just get dressed, get changed into our bathing suits, and hit the pool or hit the beach or whatever we need to do, but we don't need to wait for our luggage, and we're not sitting around in our airport clothes in the 90-degree Caribbean weather. So that is the next thing that I'm going to pack. So I'm just gonna take a really lightweight pair of sandals and put those over here, grab a bathing suit and put that over here, and then I'm just going to grab a cover up and put that over here as well. So that way I am covered once we arrive on property. That is everything that I keep in my personal item. So now let's get into what I pack in my checked bag suitcase. So starting with my toiletries and my beach bag, I am going to walk through what I pack in my checked bag. So as a reminder, it will be the backpack for Pack for a Purpose, which we do not have ready to go yet, but I will leave a room, well, I will leave space in here for the backpack that we do end up packing. These I like to go through first to make sure I have everything in there. And then if I have any more space, then I know that I can pack like some extra stuff in here if I need to. So the first thing I want to talk about are my beach bags. So I have a couple. I think this is the one I'm going to go with for these trips. This is a bog bag, and I absolutely love these bags for the pool or the beach. It's easy to clean, and it's like that material that it won't get stained or like ruined or anything. So it's like really waterproof and very durable. So this is what I'm gonna bring for this trip. The other bag that I have that I will sometimes choose to bring is this canvas bag, and it kind of is an LL Bean dupe, but I got it off of Amazon, so I will link it below. Any other products that I get from Amazon, I will link below. So this is the bag that we sometimes will bring. It doesn't really matter. It's really up to your preference what you want to do, but notice that they are like about the same size. So this is a great size bag that you want to have for the beach. And then anything with pockets, this one's just obviously not as waterproof as this one, but this one is good if you were going on an excursion or something like that that had nothing to do with the water and you wanted to keep all of your belongings safe. This one does have a zipper up top and it does have the compartment in here. So I like this one as well, but I think for this trip, because I know that we are not going to be doing, I don't think we're gonna do any excursions unless we do like a catamaran cruise or something. So I'm gonna go with this one for this trip, but I just wanted to show that one as an option. So the first thing is to have a good beach bag slash pool bag. And I'm gonna talk about what I put in mine. So first I have a little slip for my Kindle, and my sister-in-law got me this, shout out to Kelly. So I like to have something to keep a book or my Kindle safe in. The next items that are in here, these are our snorkeling masks, and we always bring our own snorkeling gear with us just so that way we can snorkel right off the beach. Some resorts do let you just use the snorkeling equipment that they have. I have heard of people who just go up to the dive shop and they ask for some masks. But some of the resorts have cracked down on that a bit more, and you can only use their snorkeling equipment if you're going snorkeling. If you don't know, Sandals has free snorkeling trips multiple times per day. But if you want, you can also just snorkel right off the beach. So I've heard that Grenada has some incredible snorkeling right off the beach. So I am really excited to check that out. So we bring our own snorkel equipment so we can just snorkel right off the beach. If you wanted to do the snorkeling trip that they do, you can just go to the dive shop and sign up for that, and that will come with their own dive equipment. So I don't know, I just like these more. They're like, we snorkel a lot now, and sometimes we'll even do like a snorkeling excursion. So because we like to snorkel so much, we just bring our own. And then kind of to go along with that, I'm also gonna bring, these are some water shoes. These are very thin. They are not like the kind of water shoes that I would recommend if you were doing something like really intense, but they are just safe enough to protect your feet from the little stuff, which is probably like as extreme as I'm gonna go. I am probably not going to be doing any sort of rock climbing or anything like that, so I'm comfortable with these, but some sort of. And then finally, I highly recommend these. If you do not have them, I will link them down below, but these are towel clips. So these are a great identifier for your chair, to reserve your chair, and these just hold your towel. They're kind of like clothespins, but they're gigantic, and they will just hold your towel to the chair. And you might kind of think that this is sort of unnecessary, but the wind right next to the water, it can get so windy and breezy. So these are perfect because keep your towel in place, and they're also like identifiable. So you can see like, okay, someone obviously has theirs up there. So, okay. That is what I'm packing in my beach bag. And then I'm going to put my beach bag right in my checked bag here. Next, I'm going to go over our toiletries bag, and then I will start going over what clothes we bring. So this is our toiletries bag, and I like to have a big clear bag to pack our toiletries in. That number one, it is visible, but also number two, it's waterproof or more like easier to clean. Like this plastic material is much easier to clean than like a canvas or something like that. So I'm going to just quickly review what you do and do not need to bring in terms of your toiletries. So what you do not need to bring are shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and body lotion, because they provide the most amazing smelling, high quality toiletries of any resort brand. The Red Lane Spa products are so amazing. I use them at home. I need to bring any shampoo or conditioner or anything like that. They have amazing ones, trust me, and they're like sulfate free and they're color safe. They're good, high quality shampoos and conditioners, so you do not need to worry about that. But What you do need to bring is any kind of, like, if you use a face wash, face lotion, and then I always bring a ton of sunscreen. And you want to bring more than you think. So I'm actually going to buy more, even though this looks like a lot, because this is pretty much empty. I think this is empty, which means that I only have one of the spray kind, which is what we really like. If you can, try to pack the reef safe sunscreen. It's much better for the ocean, the animals, the reefs, everything like that. Sometimes we have the reef stuff, and other times we either just can't find it, or like this is just like what we had on hand. But if we can, we try to use the reef safe. So a ton of sunscreen. I also have special sunscreens for your face. So I definitely recommend any kind of sunscreen for your face, and just always bring more than you think. I have a lot of different kinds. I have like a stick, I have a lotion, I have a spray. So different kinds of facial sunscreens. And then always make sure to bring plenty of aloe, because it's very likely that you will get burned. And even if you're, really good at applying and everything, the gift store does sell sunscreen and aloe. However, it is very, very, very pricey. So definitely want to pack that ahead of time. We also have this, which is like a calming aloe lotion. So anything that will help with soothing your skin or helping in that way, you want to bring lots of sunscreen. I have active lotion, I have a sheer lotion, I have a spray. So I also just bring like different varieties of sunscreen, and this one is 70, so like I'll put that one on my face, but just a lot of sunscreen and a lot of aloe. Don't need to really bring much else in the means of toiletries, because I just use the hair products that they have, which I love. I will bring a little thing of hairspray and like hair mousse, and I will bring a deodorant. I have a lot of like sample perfumes that I have just from like Ulta or Sephora purchases, so I always save those and bring them on trips. Like a little facial lotion, and I have this is a hair mousse, so I will bring that, and probably like a little hairspray. But that is it in terms of toiletries. So now let's get into clothes. Okay, so to show how I actually pack and save the most space as possible, I am going to show you exactly what it is that you need to bring, and then also exactly how I pack it so that I make a lot of stuff fit and I'll still have room to bring home more. So I first take the biggest CalPack packing cube that I have. Now, the only things that I pack for sandals after going, this will be our 9th and 10th time going, and after all of those trips, I have learned exactly what I'm going to wear and exactly what I'm not going to wear, so I know with confidence what to pack. And the only things you will wear are swimsuits, cover-ups, dresses, / outfits for dinner time. That is it, okay? Obviously, like pajamas and workout clothes as well, I always bring those, but you will not wear jeans. You will not wear jean shorts. You will not wear a sweatshirt. You will not wear sweatpants. You will not wear heels. You will not wear anything more than 1 or 2 pairs of sandals and a pair of sneakers if you're working out. That is truly it. So originally I would bring, a bunch of clothes that I never wore, and so now I have learned I know exactly what I'm going to wear and what I am not. So I'm gonna start with some of my dresses that I pack for sandals, and I try to pick sort of the bulkiest items. So I picked a couple here, and I'll show you exactly how I roll them to make them fit perfectly in these packing cubes, and then how I pack it to make it look beautiful. So to start, I'm going to take this dress, and I will show a picture of this dress right here so you have an idea of what it looks like. Now, this part doesn't really matter, but I try to fold it in a way of it to make it the most like narrow. So in this case, it's going to be like that. And then I am going to fold the sleeve in and just roll. And like I said, it doesn't really matter how you roll it. The key is that you want it to be as like narrow as possible. Like you want it to look like that, like rolled up. and then I just put it in the packing cube. So I'm gonna do that with a couple of these items. This next one is a cover up, and this is actually also from Amazon, so I could link this below or I could show you it. But so then same exact thing, I'm going to fold it so that it is narrow, and then just roll it up. And then same thing, just put it right next to it. And again, this is actually the dress that I got engaged in at Sandals Royal Bohemian. So I bring this dress every single time I go to Sandals because obviously it has really great memories and it's beautiful. This is another Amazon find, and I will link it below, and I will show a picture of me wearing it when we got engaged. And same thing with this dress. I will do the same thing, make it narrow, roll it up, and then I can kind of go like that to make it all fit. And I can actually fit more, so I am going to grab my next dress. And again, I try to count out like 6 or 7 dresses that I know I'm going to wear. And that is usually what I pack in like the biggest packing cube here. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was 6 dresses, and I can definitely fit like 2 or 3 more in here. So I am going to just roll these up just to show you how much really can fit in these packing cubes. Yep, that one's gonna fit. This is just a cover up. This is not a dress, but it's a little bit on the bulkier side. So I will roll this up, put that one in too, and I can probably even fit one more. I got this one in Antigua. I love to get a sundress at each Sandals that we visit because it's like a fun memory, and then I add it to my like Sandals wardrobe, which at this point I literally have like my everyday wardrobe, and then I have my Sandals wardrobe. And at that point, I don't even know how many items I might have fit in here, maybe like 7 or 8, but look at, it's all in here, and then it fits perfectly right there. That is how I pack for a Sandals trip, and then I just keep repeating that over and over with my swimsuits, my cover-ups, and I make sure that I also put my hair tools in this as well. Another big tip is to make sure that you have your airport outfit already set aside, because the last thing you want to do is wake up in the morning and the day that you're supposed to leave and be rummaging through the dryer looking for something to wear because you just packed all of your clothes away. So I always make sure that I set aside just like a pair of leggings and a t-shirt for the day of travel and for the day of returning home from travel. I also wanted to show what I pack for Kevin. So the only thing to keep in mind as a male going to Sandals are that there are a couple restaurants that have a dress code. So make sure to check ahead and see if any of the restaurants that you are interested in going to have a dress code. The dress code usually just says for men, because typically women were already dressed great. So that your man has long pants and closed-toed shoes. Those are really the only 2 requirements for the dress code. And I have seen people get turned away for wearing shorts or sandals. Sometimes they're more lax and like they don't care, and then other times they do. So since it's so hit or miss, it's like just pack them like a long pair of khakis, and then any sort of closed-toed shoe. Like Kevin usually brings like a boat shoe or something like that. So I just wanted to go over a couple of items that I have for him that I got off Amazon. So these are just the Amazon Essential button downs in the linen blend, and I have it in this color, and then I also got it for him in this blue color. So make sure to have a couple of those just for like dinners, and those can kind of be dressed up or down if he even wanted to wear that to like an excursion or something. It looks all fancy right now because it's like buttoned all the way up, but you know, if it was like buttoned down a bit more or something, you could definitely like wear that to an excursion, or like if we do like a sunset cruise or photo shoot, those are perfect for that. And then I also get him a couple of these polos. These are also just the Amazon Essentials brand, but they're very like lightweight and like that dry fit material. So he really likes those because obviously in the Caribbean it's very hot. So that can also be something that he wears to dinner, or if we do like a photo shoot or like a sunset cruise, or if he goes golfing. That's another good one to pack. The last thing I wanted to touch on were just what books I usually bring to Sandals and what I like to read. I only read on my Kindle when I am at Sandals. So the books that I most love to read on Kindle are any of the Ellen Hilderbrand books. And I actually got to meet her. All of her books take place in Nantucket, except for she has a Paradise series. So it starts off with What Happens in Paradise, Trouble in Paradise, and I'm forgetting the last one, but it's a trilogy of books that take place in St. John, and it's the perfect book to read at Sandals because although there is not a Sandals in St. John, it still gives you the island vibes. Like, it is perfect. So I highly recommend the Paradise series if you're looking for a book that you want to read by the pool. I love when I'm reading to read a book that takes place in the place that I am in or is like a similar vibe. Yeah, I think that is it. I guess the big takeaways are you truly only need to pack swimsuits, cover-ups, and dinner outfits. Of course, if you want to bring like workout clothes, an airport outfit, essential, make sure that you have a bathing suit and cover up in your backpack, in your personal item. For sandals, I really only bring a pair of sandals to wear by the pool and then like a pair of like a fancier dinner sandal. You will not need high heels. In fact, I highly recommend not bringing high heels unless you are a high-heeled person. If you are like a high-heeled girly and that is your thing, then like more power to you. But I have brought high heels / wedges because I wanted my fit to look great, and it never works out. I'm always miserable in them. So always want to bring clothing that is comfortable because a lot of the times you have a sunburn or something going on. So anything that's sort of strapless or like stretchy material, gauzy material, breathable material, that is what I usually look for. You'll want to have like a nice outfit if you decide to do the free photo shoot as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe. I am so excited for next month when we are heading to Sandals St. Vincent and Sandals Grenada. We will be recording both of these trips. We will be posting our reviews and a resort tour walkthrough. I'm also gonna try to spend more time focusing on specific elements of the resort this time. So I think I'm gonna try to make a video all about the food, or like all about the spa, all about the water sports. I just wanna try to get more videos that are a bit more specifically geared to each resort elements. And then once we hit those 2 resorts, I am going to make a video ranking the 10 Sandals resorts that we went to in which order we liked them the most. And I'm going to do some superlatives of like best pool, best food, best beach, stuff like that. So I'm very excited, but I have to hit my 9th and 10th sandals first before I can make those videos. So please make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss any of those upcoming videos. So excited to visit the newest Sandals St. Vincent next month. So excited to go to Grenada. Heard amazing things. People who've been to Grenada swear by it. So I am so excited to check out those 2 sandals. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.